I used to genuinely believe that women couldn't breathe without lying. I was so caught up with the Jezebels of the world and the narcissists of the world when it comes to women that I genuinely thought that healthy relationships with women were impossible. And that was years ago. And it took a lot of mustering up the courage to have a high truth preference mindset which can only be attained through a godlike mindset, really. Because if you have a low truth mindset and a low truth tolerance, then you're going to prefer to be in relationships where fantasy is the primary element that holds your relationship together. And even then, it's not a real relationship, it's a fantasy. And anybody that is lost, quote unquote, lost a narcissist or a Jezebel in their life, whether you're male or female. Now, men can be Jezebels, but more so than not, it's usually women that are the Jezebel spirit, okay? But men are more prone to be overtly narcissistic. Women are more prone to be covertly narcissistic. And the covert narcissist really is what the Jezebel spirit is. And only when you have your mindset reframed to have a high truth preference and you want to see the truth is only when you're going to be able to have the self-respect to reject these kinds of women and reject these kinds of people in general, because these people are not going to be kind to you in the long run. They might be flattering in the very beginning. They have a great way of making you feel like you're the love of their life. It can be very hypnotic and intoxicating. And any time in my life where I've had a moment with a person when I felt extremely elated in their presence, I didn't feel at peace or free, even though maybe the peace was a bit boring. There was this easiness to it, right? Whenever I've had that really exciting and thrilling feeling around a woman specifically, and with men too, it can be very much like that as well. They're very adventurous and, very high testosterone as well. Not all men that have testosterone, of course, that are going to be these narcissists, but there can be instances like that. But men do need to have a more disagreeable and more testosterone centered life, I believe, because that's how you're going to be able to come into yourself as a man. And it's not really about, oh, I need to get my T levels checked, this or that. It's just, okay, do you eat healthy? Okay, do you work out? Are you in low stress environments? Or at least can you have the adrenaline to deal with high stress situations? Okay, that's going to be really where you need to focus at. And I've noticed in my bulking stages, like I don't really bulk, but when I do eat a little bit more than I usually do, and I'm purposely doing that, man, I can feel a little bit more lethargic, and I can feel there's this softness in my mind, and there's this creeper in the back that's just trying to take the reins and fight for dominance against the godlike savage within me. And the creeper is really good because it's just a creeper, man. It's a creeper. And it's really good at subtly telling the godlike savage to not do this or not do that. Because the godlike savage is a godlike savage. The godlike savage within me just refuses to give up, refuses to quit, is relentless in his pursuits. And yet sometimes, that godlike savage needs to rest. And whenever the godlike savage rests and sleeps, that's where the creeper really tries to take control. And especially in my bulking phases, I've noticed that. But I'm not really I've been bulking a little bit for the last couple of weeks. I don't go through oh, I have 3 months of eating. I don't really have like a regimen like that. I very much intuitively eat. And so I've just been eating a little bit more and a little bit more over the past couple weeks. And now I'm going back into a mode of, okay, I've got my nutrients, I've got everything. I had that little, that little spout where I don't really know what to call it. I don't want to call it a phase, but it's just that little while where, okay, I need to eat a little bit more right now. My body's craving a little bit more food than normal. That's okay. I'm going to do that. And now I have that discipline back, fortifying in this wartime, because we are at war psychologically and spiritually. We're always at war, really, but now more than ever, the spiritual war is being revealed unto us in a way that has never been seen and revealed to us before. In fact, it is of utmost importance that that godlike savage within you is released. Okay, you have to let that be released and let him out of his cage, and just do things. Don't think about it. Stop thinking about doing things. I was, over the past couple days, it's been very strange. My internet has been acting kind of strange recently, and that usually only happens when there's spiritual attacks. And of course, there's certain things that it could be a coincidence, but I don't really believe in coincidences. There's always a reason for something. And I've been saying a lot of stuff recently, and I just have a feeling that people might think that I'm going off my rocker a little bit or whatnot, and because I'm just talking about pure truth, and I just don't care at this point. Okay, I don't have any sponsors. Okay, I can't be canceled. I can't really be fired from this either. Like, I guess I could be, but not really. I am who I am, and I'm not really committed to anybody seriously except for Jesus Christ. So I'm in a position to where I can speak the truth as I see it, and that's what I'm going to do. And if people don't really agree with it, that's okay. I encourage you to still stick around. But if you're not going to understand or even seek to understand, because man, some of these comments that are hate comments, I need better haters. I really think that sometimes. I'm like, man, this is the best you got. Like, this is it. This is how you're going to try to provoke me. All right, man. And then you have other people that are still supportive, that are still obviously getting it. And those are the people that this message is really for. Okay, because we're not just talking here to talk. We're not just doing things to just do things. We actually have something that we want to accomplish. And there's something that I want to accomplish in these videos. I have a message to give. And so when you're in the midst of a situation where you might be with a Jezebel, or you might be with a narcissist, you have to know the truth about the situation. You have to be open to the truth. And the only way that you can do that is by disciplining your own mind. Okay? Discipline your own mind. Increase your adrenaline. What's crazy is the antidote for a lot of things, as far as questions that I have with God, has been recently, ironically enough, which is fasting, nicotine, caffeine. And I'm not advocating for this. I'm just saying this is what's been really crazy for me recently, that's getting me a lot of answers and a lot of things that I'm doing. Again, I'm not advocating for this specifically. I'm just saying that this is what's happened. So fasting, nicotine, caffeine, and then semen retention. Those four things, when they're combined, it's like something really magical happens. And there's momentum being built in a way that wouldn't have been built before. Again, I'm not saying that you should go out and start smoking cigarettes or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I smoke a pipe. Okay, I smoke a pipe tobacco, and I don't breathe it in. Okay, you don't breathe in with cigars or pipes. A lot of people that will critique others for smoking cigars or pipes or whatnot, they don't even know how to smoke it. And it's just funny to me how they don't know even what they're critiquing exactly. They're still caught up in the fantasy. They're not in reality. They have a low truth preference to life. And I'm not saying that, again, you need to smoke nicotine in order to have it all. But I'm saying that this has been an antidote for me recently where if I need answers, I stop eating, I keep retaining, and I have a little bit of caffeine and a little bit of nicotine, and bada bing, bada boom, I can work in like a deep state for super long. And the Jezebel attacks are not even like it's laughable how some of these women that are possessed by the Jezebel spirit will try to attack you spiritually. I mean, even just yesterday at the gym. And I've had a lot of interesting moments over the past couple of days with women at the gym specifically. I've gotten more compliments from women in the past few days than I have in the last couple of weeks. And it's not like I'm getting compliments all the time usually, but it's just it's something interesting that's going on. And I can tell that these women, they are like, they can see that I have the ability to heal them as a godly man. Not all of these women are seeing that, but I would say most of them are. And I don't think they recognize that this is what they're seeking from me. They're not seeking the healing intentionally and consciously, but unconsciously that's what they're doing. And so the Jezebel spirit within them, though, will want to attack and will have this envy toward the godly man. And you have to be able to acknowledge that women, they are not all liars. Okay? Sometimes the women that do the most things right are often the kinds of women that are the most isolated, the most confused about other people, because they want to love people, they want to be nourishing, they want to do these things, but if they have a backbone of any degree, they know how to stand up for themselves, which as a woman, you definitely ought to know how to stand up for yourself. But I don't think that that looks like the same type of way that a man would stand up for himself. Like, I'm not going to teach my daughters, my future daughters or sons, the same things, like as far as standing up for yourself. With men, it's going to be definitely more assertive. Okay, you have to be assertive. And with women and with my daughters, I'm going to teach them, and with women in general, I teach them that, yes, you're going to have to be assertive, but it's going to be in a different kind of way. Okay, still be feminine in how you do things. And there's an art to that, there's a charm to that, there's a sophistication to that. And people can sense when you're well spoken, when you take care of yourself, how you carry yourself. You know, do you have your back straight, or do you have your you know, is you're going to be an easy target to certain men as a woman if you carry yourself a certain way. It's the same kind of thing with men. Men are going to be an easy target for a lot of these Jezebels. But you know who the Jezebel goes after more than anybody else? It's the godly man. It's the godly man. Why? Because that is who she's trying to seduce. And the Jezebel doesn't want God's kingdom to be extended to the people. The Jezebel doesn't want to see the kingdom of God flourish. Okay, she is an agent for the shadow powers and the shadow demons in the shadow world, as I call them. And the only thing that we can do as men is to stay focused. Okay, to stay on. I don't like to say stay on the grind, because I don't think you need to grind all the time. I think you need to work smarter more than you need to work harder. But don't get me wrong, you do need to work hard. Like, even in our Bible study at the Regal Change Academy tonight, we were talking in Proverbs. In fact, I might just pull up that verse. Yeah, Proverbs chapter 28, verse 19. He that tilleth his land shall have plenty of bread, but he that followeth after vain persons shall have poverty enough. Okay, so you still got to plow your lands, right? This is something that it says you have to till the lands. And if you follow after vain people, which Jezebel is a vain person, vain spirit rather, possessing a person who chooses to be vain. If you are following after those kinds of people, you're going to have poverty, not just in the sense of material things, really, because you can be, there's people like Blandrew Fate. Y'all know who I'm talking about. There's people like that out there that seem to have material possessions galore. But do you genuinely think that that person's fulfilled? Okay. I don't see somebody that's at peace when I look at a person like that. I don't see that at all. I see more like a dark master. He's mastered the dark forces really well, and he can see the truth. He's he can see the truth for sure, and he speaks a lot of truth. But that doesn't mean that he's speaking the truth for good reason. Okay, he's not doing it for righteousness' sake, I don't think. I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong, but when I look at him, I don't feel peace coming away from watching that person. I don't feel inspired. I feel kind of angry and frustrated. Like, when you watch people through, on videos, or when you're just in person with them, you can feel their energy, right? And you can come away from the conversation or from the interaction and you think to yourself, okay, like, how do I feel coming away from this? I never really feel at peace. I feel very angry and just, it's not even motivated. It's like a manipulated version of inspiration, whatever that looks like and whatever that word is. It feels like artificial inspiration. That's what I'm thinking. It feels like artificial inspiration. It's not true spirit. And so that's one of the reasons why, and you got to be mindful with these women as well. How do you feel when you come away from an interaction with them? Do you feel good? Do you feel not so good? Do you feel super elated? Because if so, then that's it's likely a toxic person. Because as high as the mountaintops are, so too are going to be the valleys, man. They're going to be deep. And you don't really need to go through that. You kind of want, like, as far as relationships go, the plains. Like the plains of Kansas, right? I don't know if anybody's seen the plains of Kansas, but it's just flat. It's very stable and it's very consistent. Those are the kinds of relationships that are very, very nice. They're very chill. It's just smooth and steady. Maybe you have a few hills here and there. Maybe you have some spontaneous sights and moments that you can check out. But for the most part, you're just able to grow on your land and you're able to chill and just drive forward in a calm, cool, collected manner. You're not too up, you're not too down, but sometimes there's things that can go on. That's really more so like a healthy dynamic in the relationship. So with all that being said, join the Regal Change Academy. We have, in a couple weeks from now, I just announced this in the RCA, the Regal Change Academy. I'm going to say that from now on, just so everybody knows. I like using that acronym. It's way easier to talk about. And plus, that's what we refer to it in the RCA anyway. So in the RCA, join the RCA. We have the Whispers of a Philosopher King coming up. We're going to read Plato's Apology in a couple weeks. And we're going to have like a 2-part class series with that. And I also am doing my Godlike Mastery Initiation program. In about a week, there's going to be fresh spots that are going to be opening up for that program. So if you are interested in that, now's the time to reach out for me for that program, because I only have a limited amount of spots for that program specifically each month, because it's a very in-depth program with people that are actually wanting to go full force into it. It's not just a general one-on-one session. Even though those are very helpful for people, the Godlike Master Initiation program is a commitment, okay? It is a commitment to you, really, at the end of the day. And it's for people that want that high truth tolerance, not even tolerance, I don't like that word, high truth preference for life. So with all that being said, peace until next time.